The announcement didn't come from a press secretary or a policy briefing. It came quietly, slotted between business headlines and celebrity gossip. Another headline most families wouldn't even see until the paycheck cleared and the credit card bill landed. While Americans were still calculating grocery costs after Thanksgiving, the First Lady registered a brand new production company. Not a charity, not a public service initiative, a for-profit media venture launched from inside the White House. At the same moment working families are being told to tighten their belts, the presidency once again turns into a storefront. Before we get into how this connects and why it matters more than it sounds, take a second to follow the channel and tap like. It helps more than you think, and then we'll get right back to this. Because this isn't just about a film deal or a documentary. It's about power being converted into currency, without friction, without guardrails, and without shame. This isn't new behavior. It's familiar. During the last Trump administration, watchdogs warned that business interests were lining up alongside official duties. Hotels filled with foreign delegations, licensing fees flowed, favoritism blurred into finance. This time, those warnings didn't slow anything down. They disappeared. Now, even as tariff threats rattle small businesses and households scramble to understand what comes next, the Trump brand is once again moving money, fast. And it isn't just the former president. Take a look at what's already happening.
While businesses big and small are scrambling to figure out how to deal with any amount of tariffs, that does not mean some are not thriving. The nightcap is still here. Ron, let's give Exhibit A. The Trump family businesses, his sons Eric and Don Jr., and Steve Witkoff, his Middle East envoy's son Zach Witkoff, jetting around the world, making real estate deals, crypto deals. In the first administration, there were actual worries about people currying favors with the president by doing business with his hotels. That's not the case this time around. Like, those are the rules. That's how you play the game, right? When you look at why Truth Social trades so well, look at who the holders are. There's a good chance those are hedge funds that are trying to curry a favor with the president when it comes to a TikTok decision.
And some foreign entities. I mean, I wish someone would actually now do the work on this, because I believe firmly that the emoluments clause is being wildly violated, because there's foreign money coming into his meme coin. There's foreign money that may very well come into this new club. And again, a way to curry favor with the president at $500,000 for a membership. There are all these things going on that in our past would have never survived.
That's the backdrop Melania Trump steps into right as she launches her own media company. Why now? Why this industry? And why does every line between office and profit keep dissolving the moment this family returns to power? We're just at the surface. The pattern sharpens once you stop treating this as a one-off headline. Melania Trump didn't wake up one morning suddenly inspired to create cinema. This launch didn't come after years away from politics or after leaving public life. It arrived while cameras, security, and influence are still attached to her name. That timing matters. Muse Films, the new company stamped to Melania Trump, doesn't exist in a vacuum. Its first project is already locked in, directed by Brett Ratner, a filmmaker whose career stalled after years of allegations and backlash. A comeback documentary anchored not in neutral storytelling, but in proximity to power. Notice how this mirrors the wider Trump ecosystem. Business interests don't wait their turn anymore. They move alongside official authority. The sons broker deals, advisors fly overseas, crypto tokens spike, membership clubs sell access, and now media production enters the mix, another channel where reputation laundering and profit can quietly intersect. For working Americans, the contrast couldn't be starker. Families hear lectures about sacrifice while inflation bites. Small businesses brace for tariff shocks. Workers face layoffs and tighter credit. Meanwhile, the people at the very top aren't sacrificing anything. They're expanding portfolios. And this expansion doesn't require policy wins or public approval. It only requires proximity. That's the key shift. In earlier administrations, merely appearing to profit from the presidency triggered investigations, resignations, and scandal. This time, appearances are brushed aside as noise. The conduct continues openly, often proudly. The report you just saw doesn't just describe financial activity, it describes normalization. A new set of rules where offices become platforms and connections become commodities. And it raises uncomfortable questions. When a First Lady launches a production company while still residing in the White House, who exactly is the audience? Who funds the distribution? Who benefits from favorable access down the line? Because documentaries don't exist solely to inform. They shape narratives, they clean reputations, they rewrite history. And when they are produced by someone who benefits directly from state power, that rewriting carries weight far beyond the screen. Hollywood figures already understand this. Investors understand it. Foreign interests understand it. Which brings us to the next layer, how cultural influence, money, and political immunity are converging in ways that used to stop presidents cold and now don't slow anyone down at all. The presidency isn't just being used for political leverage anymore. It's being franchised. It circles back to where this started, with power being treated like a product. A first lady launching a film studio while still attached to the presidency isn't just a curiosity. It's the end point of a system where the boundary between public service and private profit has been erased in plain sight. Because this isn't really about movies. It's about permission. Permission for influence to become currency. Permission for access to be monetized. Permission for proximity to power to quietly reshape markets, culture, and accountability, all without formal votes, hearings, or consent from the people supposedly being served. The consequences don't show up on a red carpet. They show up everywhere else. When the highest offices normalize grift, watchdogs weaken. When watchdogs weaken, corruption spreads downward. And when corruption spreads, working families are left paying invisible costs. Higher prices, reduced trust, fewer protections, and institutions that stop working for them. This isn't hypothetical. We've already seen how rapidly norms collapsed once this mindset took hold. Emoluments concerns dismissed, ethics rules shrugged off, conflicts of interest reframed as savvy business. Each step lowers the bar a little more until the presidency itself is no longer a trust but a brand extension. Contrast that with leaders who understood restraint. Franklin Roosevelt didn't turn war leadership into personal gain. Obama didn't leave office richer because of favors granted while governing. The credibility of leadership mattered as much as policy itself. That difference isn't cosmetic, it's structural. When leaders treat public office as a responsibility, institutions hold. When they treat it as leverage, institutions rot, slowly at first, then all at once. Melania Trump's production venture doesn't exist on its own. It fits cleanly into a larger picture where accountability dissolves and enrichment becomes normalized. And once that becomes standard practice, reversing course gets harder with every passing moment. The real danger isn't a bad documentary. It's a future where Americans no longer expect their leaders to separate governments from greed and stop demanding better altogether. That's the line this moment draws, and it's one worth paying attention to. If you want strong accountability, ethical leadership, and a government that actually works for working Americans, not itself, make your voice part of that push. Subscribe, turn on notifications, share this video, and leave a comment with your thoughts on how far is too far when it comes to profiting from power.